Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to this digital press briefing where we'll be looking at a number of new developments within the sector and the information that we wanted to provide, particularly to workers and stakeholders, with regards to A, the stimulus package, and B, to look at the training and development programs that we have crafted for the development of the workers during this period when they are laid off. I wanted to begin, in fact, by indicating that the Caribbean is being heavily impacted by the COVID-19 tourism fallout. As a matter of fact, the region is likely to lose some 62 billion US dollars in foreign exchange earnings this year, and some 2.4 million workers are being affected as we speak. The implications for that for the Caribbean economy is very, very dire, in fact. The hard cold information that we have, and it's not a good one, but it's what we have, is that of the 18 countries of the CARICOM area, some 15 have tourism dependence of 30% and more. As a matter of fact, when I went through the listing, it pained me because it showed not only the contribution of tourism to the GDP of these countries, the highest one, of course, being the Virgin Islands at 73.1%, and everybody else running through 62% for St. Kitts and Nevis, 55.8 for Grenada, 44.7 for Belize, 44.7 for Antigua, 48.3 for Anguilla, and if we come down the line, we'd see Jamaica at 34.7%. The further implications now for employment is that 9 of these countries are showing unemployment impact of more than 30% as well. The highest impact being, of course, St. Kitts and Nevis at 60%, meaning to say 60% of the employment in that area is related to tourism. And then we have others like the Virgin Islands with 53%, Antigua with 44%, Anguilla with 51%, the Virgin Islands, Grenada with 51.6%, and if we come down the line to Jamaica, the aggregate share of employment is 31.5%, which means here the direct, indirect, and induced. The direct impact would be 9.7% in the case of Jamaica, but the indirect and induced would be 31.5%. And to look also at the share of receipts, that is the export earnings for tourism for each of the countries, and the percentage in relation to the gross earnings, we'll find again that the same pattern emerges, with Anguilla having the highest impact of 61.9%. I'm sorry, not Anguilla with the highest, Anguilla with the second highest, the highest being Bahamas with 65.2%, and then followed by Anguilla with 61%. And down the line, we'll see Jamaica at 59.9%. So what it is saying is that the share of the foreign exchange earnings in these countries against the total foreign exchange earning is what we just indicated to you. And in the case of Jamaica here, it's 59.9%, which would be approximately 60%. So we could see why we have to work very hard to restore tourism in the region, and why it is so critical that all of us work assiduously to flatten the curve, to reduce the length of time that this recovery takes, because the economies overall are suffering and bleeding as a result. Now, in our own case, we did a little further drilling just to give you a sense that immediately we looked at what our own direct employment is. I gave you a while ago the percentage, but in terms of the direct employment, 160,000 people are directly employed to tourism as we speak, and all of those are going to be impacted in one way or another by the stimulus package that we have just announced. But 40,000 of those are still employed as we speak, meaning to say they are working for whether 2 days or 3 days a week and getting a fraction of their pay by the hotels. So in essence, 120,000 or 75% of the workers employed directly to the industry are now laid off. And that's significant for us to consider when we are looking at how hard all of us have to work. And I wanted to make this point in this briefing that all of us have to work very hard to make sure that these unemployment figures that I'm indicating here hold only for a short period of time. Because the longer the period of time that it holds, is the more dire the straits will be that all of us are going to be in as a country. So when the health protocols are established and when the Prime Minister announces with regards to how we must act and behave to manage this COVID pandemic, we want everybody to take it seriously, every single soul to take it seriously and to respond appropriately and to make sure that you get your neighbors to respond as well, because not just you alone, but everybody around you. When we talk about social distance, yes, make sure that you maintain that. When we say stay at home, yes. When we say we're locking down an area, respect that. And it involves everybody, all layers of the society. And finally, on our local situation in regards to impact, the first 2 months of this year, you know, we were doing very well. We earned actually $859 million dollars. $859 million US dollars the industry actually brought in the first 2 months. So everything was going well, and we brought in just a little over 1 million visitors during the period, 1,022,000 in fact. So, you know, the trajectory was positive and strong. So what we want to do is to get back into the mode as quickly as possible, and so that the earnings for Jamaica can in fact be restored. Help to consolidate the view that all of us must have, that we have to cooperate fully in every aspect of this program to A, reduce the spread, and B, to get normalcy back to Jamaica as fast as possible. Now, to give further support to the sector, the ministry is announcing today that we will be offering, in the first instance, a 6-month moratorium on all the licenses and fees that are to be paid by the various entities relating to the industry. And I just wanted to outline, for the benefit of the audience, these entities. Resort cottages, apartments and guest houses and villas, those involving homestay arrangements that have to be licensed by us, car rentals, the bike rentals, the water sports people, the attractions, the domestic tours, the contract carriage, the craft traders, and places of interest, you know, that need an approved letter from us, travel halls, and the various other categories that I have not indicated here, but who have to go through the JTB and or the TPDCO for licensing. The accumulative revenue that we forego for that 6-month period, which would end September, of this year will be $9.7 million. So this would give some level of reprieve and hopefully help with cash flow situations for a number of our partners out there. I want to make the point that this 6-month moratorium will be reviewed, depending, of course, on the length of time that it takes for us to recover and to get going. We're very concerned about that. The other key point that I wanted to make was that Professor Shirley has kindly consented to chair the cruise recovery program for COVID-19, and I wanted to announce that today because the panel that we have established is a very eminent one, which includes some of the best minds in the cruise sector, and we're hoping to have them begin to work as early as next Monday, so that we could start putting protocols in place, we could start engaging our partners to get that sector back on track as quickly as possible after the recovery. What we call the land-based tourism, that is the bread and butter side of our tourism, that team, which I chair, will also start working on Monday. And it consists of all the key stakeholders and major players in the industry. And we're going to be working on a hard 2-week drive to get the framework of the recovery ready for first discussion. We are talking with a major international company to work with us in developing the technical aspect of the plan, and we are going to be taking that plan now to our partners overseas, our airline partners, or tour operators, and so on. So all of us will buy into this, because what we're trying to create is a new tourism after COVID-19. We recognize the changes that are going to take place. We recognize the primacy of health security in all of this, and also to ensure that our destination assurance is there, not just as a promise to the market that you'll be safe and secure when you come to Jamaica, but a promise to ourselves that we will make sure that all the citizens of Jamaica are safe and secure and are practicing the highest level of health protocols that is available. So those points I wanted to make. And finally, last week we announced the online training program, and that program will in fact now be launched next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And already we have gotten interest and registration from a whole host of workers. And I've never seen a program that we've brought on board that has seen so much interest. Yesterday we had a virtual meeting with all the heads of hotels across Jamaica, involving also some of the HR leaders, and they showed a level of excitement for this program that I believe was most encouraging. So Carol Rose Brown, who heads the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, and her team will lead off that program on Wednesday of next week. And it will cover a whole range of areas, not just training now in basic skills in the industry and supervisory skills and so on, but we're going to be putting a big focus on health protocols. We're going to be looking at what are some of the new ways in which hoteliers are going to have to operate in terms of securing the health of the nation while also securing the health of the visitors. So this, I think, is a new dimension to the program. It wasn't there when I spoke with you the last time, but in the last week, we have come together, and again, through the recommendation of our partners in the industry, we have included that in the curriculum for the online training. So I want to thank you for giving us some time this morning, and now we want to open for questions that you may have.
All the persons be
Oh, well, I think that we are going to be putting out, starting this weekend, a clear statement in terms of how you get online, how you access the details of that. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be more than just a statement. We're going to have ads on television and on Facebook and all the social media with regards to that. I personally don't have all that detail at this minute to give you, but we will have it all ready for you over this weekend.
And most of the commentary we're receiving from social is not questions, it's just applause, apparently, and, good initiatives, especially where the online training is concerned.
Yes.
So they're ready to sign up.
Well, we're getting very positive reviews from the social media players this morning on much of what is being said. And that's good. But I'd love to hear from you any concerns that you may have, also any questions, so we can move on from this briefing pretty confident that we are all at one and we're going out there to make this thing happen and to beat this COVID-19 virus and send it back from where it came.
Our team members are at home and to be able to provide the necessary skills that we require. It is normally so difficult to do in the normal working day and in the working environment. So this initiative is really something that I can completely understand the applause that you're getting and fully support. It is really can make a big difference, especially with the new skills that we're going to need to learn with regards to the new health protocols that are very much going to have to be embraced by every part of the industry, hotels and attractions, transportation, etc. So just wanted to make that note.
Thanks, John. Yes, of course, the director is making the good point that this is a key part of the whole tourism resilience that we're building to enable us to respond quickly and bounce back fast after disruptions that may come from time to time. Okay, thank you very much and have a great morning.